KidNet Television proudly presents America's favorite kid show host, Rainbow Randolph!
So you'll make sure my boy dances up front, right? Gets to sit in the chair?
You want your little booger eater on my show?
Meet Randolph Smiley. He once was rich. He once was famous. And he once was sane.
Rainbow Randolph is the man. Yes, oh yes, he is.
They kicked me out of the corporate penthouse. I'm homeless.
I can assure you, this network cannot survive another Rainbow Randolph.
Don't touch me! I'm a shot! Salmonella!
Sir, it is my personal mission to find a satisfactory replacement. Get me Smoochy.
You're telling me that KidNet is finally ready to pursue a show of Smoochy caliber?
Hey, it's Smoochy! Come on!
Hello, New Jersey!
Despise you.
I load you!
Now,
My body was barely cold and you went to work for the rhino.
I gotta eat, don't I?
the only way to take back his career is to take down his replacement. In this jungle,
Going on safari. Safari.
hunting season
What's this?
Trust me, Sheldon, it's a handy accessory to have in this business.
never ends.
Tear him apart! Now and forever! What's up?
Robin Williams, Edward Norton, Danny DeVito, Catherine Keener.
What does it all mean?
Death to Smoochy.
Hey, what's going on, Celluloid Dissectors? Welcome to episode 4 of Celluloid Dissections podcast. I'm your host, Derek here, and as always, I have my trusty personal assistant of, the Smoochy Enterprises, who would be Nora in this situation. Carly, what's going on, Carly?
Hey, not too much, not doing much of anything, just got off work, and here we are. I'm excited to record this one.
Yeah, and if you were wondering, because we actually teased that we might have a special guest, Rainbow Randolph went on a apeshit bender, and we don't know where he went.
Yeah, it was literally just a tease, guys. Like, we were just kidding. There's no one gonna be on.
No. We could say it now. Brandon Orlick from Exploding Heads was supposed to be our guest, and we're kind of worried because we haven't heard from him all day. So I hope everything's all right. Sometimes he has personal things that do come up, and shit happens.
Yeah, like we all do. Yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed the episode, Brandon. We wish you were here. We're definitely gonna get you on at some point again. We'll even let you pick the film.
Yeah.
But we already pushed the show back once, so we decided the show must go on, like Queen would say, Freddie Mercury himself. We got to continue, and we got to get through this to get to our October episode, which I'll announce at the end of the show. Well, I think we'll both announce it because we're both here. But Carly, what have you been watching lately? You been watching anything good?
Well, I've been kind of watching movies for my 31 Days of Horror because I'm cheating and pre-recording all of those bad boys. So I've been trying to get the last of them finished and recorded. I'm up to 23 videos, which is I've been doing this since July. So been kind of watching different stuff like Inferno. I watched that for the first time the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I will say it was. It's obviously no Suspiria, but honestly, it was more close than I thought it would be with just the color scheme and different aspects to it. So I did enjoy that one. And as you know, I did see American Werewolf and American Werewolf in London last night for the first time too, which I enjoyed that as well. That was a pretty fun movie. I had a lot of laughs with that one. And I mentioned on Facebook, I kind of put it off for a while because to me the title just always turned me off for some reason. It was just one of those full sentence title telling you exactly what's going on here type of deal. So I kind of just thought, I don't know if I'd like that one. And turns out I did. So
yeah,
that was pretty cool.
John Landis.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any of his other movies before?
I've seen his Masters of Horror episodes, but I have not seen any of his films, I don't believe.
He's mostly known for his comedy stuff. He did Animal House.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't.
yeah, it's pretty fun. Speaking of which, I gotta make a rant because I saw it on your post when you went to go see that. I'm not gonna name any names, but there's movies that I actually haven't seen either, and that's just fucking crazy. I fucking my vein popped out when I read that shit.
Yeah, I did reply to said human, and I was expecting him to like be a dickhead back, but then he was actually normal, so I wasn't. I was like, because I was expecting myself to go on a big tangent rant type of thing as well, but he did reply like a normal type of comment, and I kind of joked back to him, and that was that. But yeah, I mean, people are always like on me about not seeing movies, and I just think like JP hasn't seen like a lot of movies, and a lot of I listen to podcasts all the time where like people haven't seen certain hidden gems from the 90s or 70s or whatever. You know, we're not going to see every movie by the time we die. That's impossible. So
yeah, plus you gotta give like the age differences too. You're a lot younger than a lot of us senior citizen podcasters, as I like to call it. And you're still learning, you know? You're still checking out stuff, getting the feel like different types of movies in general and stuff.
Yeah, and like I've always been a horror fan since I was like 3 years old. I've always been into horror movies, but a lot of the times I would rewatch the same films over and over again and didn't really branch out like a lot of people did when I was younger. And then in high school, I still watched horror movies, but I kind of got caught up in, you know, high school activities and like being a horror fan. People kind of looked at me weird anyway, so I was like, kind of forgot about it until I met JP again, and then I became an obsessed fan. So, you know, it's like I didn't really like a lot of people. I feel like grew up watching a big variety of stuff, but I would just rewatch movies like Halloween and Scream over and over again and all that. But
same here. Like, you know, remember rewatching Killer Clowns from Outer Space like 35 times one time.
Yeah, but then again, there's like a lot of stuff I have seen. Like it'll come back to my memory, and I'm like, oh, I did see that when I was like 6. So it's like there's more than I really give myself credit for. But at the same time, you know, I didn't get into a lot of stuff until 2015 when I really got into all these group pages and whatnot.
Yeah, same here. Like, I didn't know there was a movie about giant mushroom people until recently, and well, thanks to Mr. Herring, you know, that Matango movie that we keep talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's and you know, I'm just shell shocked because when you think of it, a movie about giant mushroom people, you're like, that's gonna be fucking ridiculous. But then you watch it, it's like a serious fucking movie. You're like, wow, didn't fucking expect that to happen.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like there's so many movies I would have never thought to watch on my own time until I kind of started listening to podcasts and like making friends within the community and having them recommend things or just, you know, shout out ridiculous sounding movies. I never would have thought to watch those movies like in high school or even if I just didn't get involved at all. So it's interesting really how many the big variety of horror films there are out there, and it's fun to kind of get into them. So
yeah, but we're not actually talking about a horror movie today.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. Ironically, we're not at all.
No, you know, this is more of a dark comedy.
Yeah, it's like crime comedy, honestly. It's weird.
Yeah, it has some kind of crime elements in it. And we'll get into it in a minute, but why don't we take a little break and we're actually going to play some music from the film of the hour. This is, you know, the Friends Come in All Sizes, the opening for the Rainbow Randolph show of said movie. So we'll be right back after this.
Boys and girls, welcome to the Rainbow Randolph Show. KidNet Television proudly presents America's favorite kid show host, the friendliest friend on earth, Rainbow Randolph! Featuring Angela Pike and the Twinkle Kids.
Friends come in all sizes.
That's right, Rainbow.
Friends come in all sizes, that's a fact, it's true. All the colors of rainbow from mauve to blue. The names are different, the shoes don't match. Some like to toss while others to catch. One might say grasp while the other says snatch. Because in all sizes, take it from me. Golly gee, size never matters when you want some friendly patter from a pal who is true and can lift you up when you're blue. You can count on him, he can count on you. It's true. It's true. Friends come in all sizes, friends come in all sizes, friends come in all sizes, yes, they do.
And you know what else comes in all sizes? Our Rainbow Randolph products. They're there online for you at rainbowrandolph.com. Log on. It's not free.
And we are back. And Carly, what's the film we're talking about today?
We are talking about Death to Smoochy from the year 2002.
Little plot synopsis. Do you got it up on?
I do. It's kind of big here, but it's a pretty good synopsis, I guess. A kid show host, Rainbow Randolph, is fired and disgraced while his replacement, Sheldon Mopes, aka Smoochy the Rhino, finds himself a rising star. Unfortunately for Sheldon, the business of kids television isn't all child's play. So there you have it.
Pretty much child's play. I didn't even read that synopsis. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is... well, I'll talk about the writer first of this film because this film's actually written by Adam Resnick, who he used to work with David Letterman. He was a writer for David Letterman back in the day. And him and his partner, his writing partner, Chris Elliott, actually made a TV show called Get a Life, which is kind of an underrated show. It didn't last too long. It was like a one-season show. And then it went away, but then they made... Well, originally, Adam Resnick wrote just a screenplay, and this movie was supposed to be directed by Tim Burton. But Burton pulled out and only became the producer, and he's like, you should direct it to Adam Resnick. And him and Chris Elliott made the movie Cabin Boy, which, as you know, if you listen to me and Mr. Jerry Herring, that's one of our favorite movies growing up. So I kind of didn't know that he wrote this going into it, and I'm like, that kind of makes sense the way that some of the comedy is in this movie. So that was cool that I found that out. But the interesting thing about this movie also is who the director is. And Carly, who is the director of this movie?
The one and only Danny DeVito himself.
Yes, and he actually has directed movies in the past. If you don't know Danny DeVito, you should know who Danny DeVito is if you listen to any movie podcasts in general, because he's just a legend, you know, in the aspect of how many movies he's done. Like, let's talk about like his early career, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where one of his first movies, and actually there's actually another actor in this movie that's an alumni Cuckoo's Nest member. He played the Penguin in Batman Returns, which is an iconic role for anything, just the way that he portrayed that character too. And you know, his comedy stuff, like he did like a lot of like comedian roles, like Jewel the Nile, and probably most notably, if you are a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he's fucking Frank Reynolds on that show. And you know, he has produced some movies in the past. Like he actually, his production company is Jersey Shore Productions, and if you didn't know this, Danny DeVito is a producer on Pulp Fiction.
Damn.
Yeah, so he has a lot of production credits to his name.
Yeah.
And he has directed some movies in the past. I'd probably The War of the Roses and Hoffa are probably the ones I know the most. But
oh yeah, The War of the Roses. My mom loved that movie. I remember she made me watch that when I was younger. I liked it too.
Yeah, it's a good movie, and there's a lot of dark stuff in that one too. So it kind of
yeah.
Sense. And then probably the one that we probably know is we grew up as kids watching Matilda.
You know what? I don't know if I've ever actually watched Matilda.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when I really think about it, I might have seen bits and pieces, but I don't think I've ever sat and watched that entire movie. So that's
yeah,
that shows
it's kind
you
of
once
an
again I'm a
odd
noob.
one. It's kind of an odd one because it's it's an adaptation of a Roald Dahl novel. The same guy who did like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Hmm.
and it's cute. It's more kidsy. It's kind of a little dated now that I think about it. The way that some of the casts and performances were. And that, well, since it was like 90s too, and Danny DeVito is in that movie too. He plays like Matilda's dad in it, and his actual wife Rhea Perlman is actually the mother in that movie. so you get that going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a bunch of his movies, and you could tell like with the aspect of some of like the color schemes in this movie, since he's worked with Burton before, you could see like some aspects of the film kind of remind me of Tim Burton movies in a way when we get into it.
Hmm.
And of course, Danny DeVito is also in this movie. He has a smaller role. The two main actors in this film who play our titanical characters of Rainbow Randolph and Sheldon Mopes, aka Smoochy. As Rainbow Randolph, we have the legendary Robin Williams, of course. Academy Award-winning actor, comedian, entertainer, who's sadly no longer with us, and it's kind of weird watching this movie now. With
yeah,
after what happened to him when he took his life, and we'll get more into that and more of the spoiler stuff. I think.
Yeah. Robin Williams, I have trouble watching any of his movies now after just knowing how he died. It makes them all kind of have this eerie, depressing feel to them.
Especially
sadly.
this one.
Yeah, there's definitely parallels there, but yeah, rest in peace to him.
Yeah,
Were
you a fan? You were?
Oh yeah, I was. He I really liked him growing up, and actually, it's like everyone's like, oh, I remember where I was when Michael Jackson died. I remember where I was when Robin Williams died. I was at band camp and we were practicing, and my best friend Mallory comes walking in. We were in the library, and she was like, guys, did Robin Williams kill himself? And we were like, what? That's got to be a hoax. And then it was true, and then I was just depressed the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of tearing up now thinking about it.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, we'll move on to that. We'll get more into that more in our other discussions of the movie. And we got Ed Norton, another Academy Award nominated. I'm actually not sure if he actually won an Oscar. He's been nominated a few times. But Ed Norton plays Sheldon Mopes, aka Smoochy the Rhino. And Ed Norton's had an interesting career, of course. Probably the film that most people know him from was American History X. This is a bunch of movies he's been in that that he did that terrible Hulk movie.
Oh man.
It's not terrible, but it's just weird because he never got to play it again. It's kind of like an offshoot Hulk movie. And I actually kind of
the generic brand.
Yeah, and I kind of prefer Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk now after watching him in a bunch of movies. But anyways, he's a good character actor. He does a lot of good acting work in movies, and I always dug him. I always dug how he tried to change his persona as an actor, and his characters are very interesting, the way that he portrays them in general.
Yeah, he's another one. I haven't seen a ton of his movies, but I was watching this and I'm like, who is that guy? And then I realized he was from Fight Club, and I just watched Fight Club for the first time this year, back at the beginning of the year, and I was like, I feel like I just saw this guy in a movie somewhere, and then it was driving me crazy, and then I was like, oh, that's Ed Norton, of course, I'm dumb. But yeah, Fight Club, that was a great one. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, fuck, I was thinking of that title off the top of my head, and there's 900 movies coming up, because I'm like an encyclopedia.
Oh yes.
And rounding out the cast, we have Catherine Keener as Nora, who I know. Catherine Keener, she's a interesting actress. She dabbles in a lot of lower, but the movie that I first seen her in was, of course, the weirdest movie ever called Being John Malkovich. Have you ever heard of that movie?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
So you know what it's about, right?
Honestly, I do not. I think I've only I've heard the title of that said before, but I've never really known the whole plot behind it.
Okay, it's okay. So Catherine Keener's character is hanging out with Cameron Diaz and John Cusack in the movie, and John Cusack gets a new job in this weird it's even weirder because it's between two elevator stops where the office is.
Huh.
And there's a secret small door inside where he works, and if you go inside the door, you actually go into John Malkovich.
Oh.
And you can control him and act as John Malkovich. It's weird.
Yeah, just putting that into words, it sounds super weird.
Yeah, you got to see it to believe it. It's actually a really cool movie. Spike Jonze directed it. Yeah, and I seen her in a bunch. She was also in a few minutes of Where the Wild Things Are, which is another Spike Jonze movie. Yeah, she's in a bunch of stuff. I just can't think of it on the top of my head. And then we got fucking Jon Stewart as fucking Marion Stokes, fucking with his fucking mop top in this movie. Hilarious.
Yeah.
And then we got Spinner Dunn, played by Michael Rispoli. Harvey Fierstein. Hello there. My name's Harvey Fierstein as Merv Green. And another alumni, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest cast member, Vincent Scavalli as Buggy Ding Dong.
Yeah, this guy's he's got one of those faces that you just know who he is. I mainly know him from Ghost and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yep,
Yeah.
He's in Ghost.
He's got those sad, slanted eyeballs that you can always pick him out in a crowd.
Yeah, I think he's also in Batman Returns, now that I think about it. Another DeVito starring movie. So that makes sense. But, yeah, this is I'll talk about a little thing about how, when I first saw this movie, this is on regular cable TV. I think it was HBO or something when it first came out. And, I'm like, what the fuck is Death to Smoochy? It's just a weird title and, the weird image art of a rhino inside of underneath a dead body sheet, You're like, what the fuck is this about? So I started watching it and I'm like, what the fuck? Robin Williams is doing this and this type of movie, and it's kind of a play on the whole kids TV aspect, which it kind of sucked me in. This is a movie that it's a weird plot to it, but you just go for the ride because fucking it's just so odd and weird, but it's kind of ahead of its time, this type of story, because a lot of shit that happened within it we would during the time period, because this movie flopped when it came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This would be appreciated, this type of story and movie now, because we see a lot of these type of movies done today, and I think this one's a little bit ahead of its time in that aspect. And I'm very curious, Carly, because this is a first time watch for you, correct?
Yes.
So, tell the listeners, what did you think of Death to Smoochy?
Well, yeah, kind of like you said, the title, when you first said that we were going to do this one, I was like, I don't know, I've never even really heard of that one, I don't think, and I didn't know if it was going to be a comedy or what kind of thing it was going to be at first, and then you said Robin Williams, and I thought oh, it's probably definitely some sort of comedy type of deal, and I went into the movie without looking up the plot, as I've kind of been doing with most movies I review nowadays, because I just think it's kind of fun to go into something and really invest yourself and let it play out without reading anything into it. And yeah, I dug this movie. At first, I thought, the plot's kind of weird. I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but like you said, it's a unique plot. It's not one you see every day, and at first, I didn't really find it to be all that funny, but then it's Robin Williams just steals the show in this movie. I feel all his scenes are hilarious. The way he kind of overreacts and just acts like batshit crazy in scenes. I love that stuff. And yeah, the whole just general idea behind it with this guy's trying to be the Smoochy character is supposed to genuinely care about kids and he doesn't want all this involvement and he wants to call the shots, but then all these other aspects start kind of getting into his way. Definitely, like you said, ahead of its time, and something that would be a little more eye-opening today probably, and it would probably make this movie a bigger hit because, you know, I've never really heard anyone talk about this one. I think I have probably heard the title mentioned before, but especially for being a Robin Williams movie, I feel like I know the names at least of a lot of his films, even if I haven't seen them. But this is one that kind of has always been slipped under the radar, and I'm happy to have seen it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, and I also thought like the crime aspects to it were interesting, and just the whole general plot was very unique and something refreshing to watch.
I'm glad to hear that. I was actually kind of scared. Like, I'm usually in with like, this are certain aspects of like movies. Well, like I said, we got actually kind of a, you know, it's not really a negative review, but it's not really a positive review either in our listener feedback. So sometimes these movies could react differently to different viewers. So I'm always on edge. Like, am I going to be killed this episode?
You're like eating the popcorn, leaning in closely. What you gonna say? But yeah, I liked it. What are we on our 4th episode? 4 for 4 here.
No, it's awesome. Yeah. Awesome stuff. So, speaking of Mr. Robin Williams' performance, it's definitely one that I think it's underlooked, and it's an underrated performance by him.
Oh yeah, I would agree. Shows how dynamic he can be as a character, for sure.
Yeah, and you know, I actually did hear a podcast on this recently, maybe like a few months ago. Actually, this is the only podcast I ever seen that ever like did this movie. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, and you know, like the VD Clinic, they did this with they paired it with another movie. I know that it was like either, I'm trying to think, and yeah, I can't think. I gotta look later, and maybe I'll send you that show so you can listen to their opinions after. But it's been a while since I listened to it, so I went into this fresh eyes still. You know, the whole reason why I did this movie too is because Brandon mentioned it in the chat one time, and we started doing quotes from it. And that's kind of the idea why I wanted Brandon this episode, because he's actually a fan of it too.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I hope we do it justice, Brandon, and we wish you were here, like the Pink Floyd song would say.
Love that song.
Hell yeah. You know, I think we could really delve into it, and I do say that people should check this one out since it is so underlooked.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you are a Robin Williams fan like me, I think this is... you would appreciate his performance in this one. I think it's probably one of his better ones, and, you know, like you said, kind of an overlooked one. So definitely give this one a watch.
Hell yeah. But we're going to go very in-depth on this one and talk about the plot a little bit. So why don't we play a little bit of Robin Williams' performance in this film, and we'll be right back with some spoiler talk.
You know, sir, I sure did.
Oh, I know you did, Hunter. As well as hundreds of well-wishers who stood in front of KidNet Studios to catch a glimpse of their favorite rhino.
Pressure building. Smoochy's popularity is stronger than ever thanks to his recent exoneration. Several movie studios are offering big bucks to bring this Smoochy story to the screen.
Bastard son of Barney! Die! Die, you stuffed son of flop! You illegitimate Teletubby! Die, you muffin from hell! Die, you fool!
And, yeah, guys. Ready for some spoiler talk?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The film opens up with this crazy moniker of, like, things that are to come, and you see a silhouette of a rhino getting shot.
Yes.
Which does play later into the movie, which I found cool that it kind of threw us off, because we thought, oh, maybe they died and we didn't know. Maybe they did kill Smoochy.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But we'll get more into that when we get to it. But yeah, and then it cuts to, you know, before all that events happen in the credit sequence, and we open up to the Rainbow Randolph show. where Rainbow Randolph's performing for the kids. He sings this awesome song that we played earlier. Things are coming in sizes. And, this is just Robin Williams doing what he does best. And he could sing, dance, perform. And, it's great. I know Carly's not really a fan of musicals, but I think it plays well with, like, the style of the film it is. We're, like, talking about, like, kid shows and stuff. Because a lot of kid shows would have, like, these aspects of singing and dancing within them. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. And I agree it's perfect for Robin Williams. That whole intro with the that whole dance singing number kid show thing, that's kind of where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this movie, because like I said, I'm not huge into musicals, and it's very quirky, I would say, that whole number at the beginning. So I was like, if the whole movie's gonna be like this, I don't know if I'm really gonna dig it that much. But as you watch it, it plays out, and then the plot kind of shifts from there. So but like, just as an opener, I was like, it was
kind of jarring the first time I watched it too. I'm like, am I watching a musical? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A kids movie? I don't know. Yeah.
It's gonna be like Barney. Is Barney gonna come out?
Pretty much.
Yeah. But then, of course, after this, we see Rainbow Randolph inside Pepsi's bar.
Yeah.
I got to say, I gotta give it a shout out, because there's a scene later on when they're reporting on the news and they say Pepsi's bar, and everyone's like, yeah! I was dying laughing. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, okay, all right.
Everyone's excited. Pepsi's! I'm like, okay.
All right, must be the place to be.
I know. I might have to go there now.
Yeah. We can meet up.
Definitely. So he's in this bar, and he's meeting with what we are first believed to be family of a kid who wants to be on Rainbow Randolph's show, and he's taking bribe money. And pretty much what ends up happening is this two woman and man who are supposed to be husband and wife are really undercover FBI agents, and he gets fucked. Yes.
Which, again, that was shocking to me, because I was picturing this whole movie being about just Rainbow Randolph and some big character thing about him alone. So I was like, oh, so it opens up and he's already been caught, and that's kind of the end of Robin Williams being the central character here. So that was definitely interesting for me.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it does this montage of them taking down the set, and like reports and stuff, and new slots opening on KidNet. That's the name of the network that Robin Williams was on. It was KidNet, which is even a play on like the whole kid entertainment. Like
yeah,
it was cool. And then actually the head of KidNet, the actor who plays that guy, is the shop owner in Christine. That's who that was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a familiar face. And I'm like, oh shit, it's the dude from Christine. I recognize, he gets killed by the fucking seatbelt.
Yeah, I love Christine, but I haven't seen it in so long. I wouldn't have put two and two together, but Christine's one of those ones I always forget that I love so much until I watch it again.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite King adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, and then we meet Marion Stokes, played by John Stewart, and great, like, weird, like, introduction shot where it's like the top of his fucking mop top hairdo.
Yeah.
And like he's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then we're introduced to Nora, and they're like, we gotta find a new replacement. And they're looking through like it's actually funny. Like they're like Buggy Ding Dong, heroin runner. And it's like all like you see all like these it's like a dark side of like kids entertainment where they're like reading off what these people have done. Like one's like a drug smuggler and one's like a prostitution ring owner. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, which once again that kind of applies to stuff that goes on today, unfortunately, with these people.
And of course, they have to stick with it, and they have to land on Sheldon Mopes. And Nora's like, Smoochy the fucking rhino. Come on now. He's a fucking has-been.
Yeah.
And of course, like, who else are we gonna be doing? They're like, okay. So Nora ends up going to meet Sheldon, who's performing at methadone clinics on Coney Island.
Yeah, which is that whole thing is just so depressing looking. He's like, what's the song's like? You're gonna get off dope. You're
You
gonna
gotta
get
get
off
off the smack.
Yeah, there you go. It's like so downerish. I'm like, this would make me want to do more drugs, I think.
And this is our first introduction to Sheldon, and he's wearing like his own like homemade like rhino like helmet. It kind of looks like a old school football helmet, but with a rhino horn.
Yeah.
That's the way I would describe it. He's just playing guitar, and he's like, "Oh, you look lively," because when he first meets Nora, you know, I know you're on the smack, right? She thought she was on drugs too.
Yeah.
She gets all offended. No, I'm from KidNet. Oh, you're from KidNet. Oh, you came to see my show. And they go to the hot dog vendor place, and this is where we get to see like Sheldon's kind of like a hippie-ish type character, because he doesn't eat meat. He's very about organics, and and it kind of builds on his more of his character when we find out later, and there's a line of him going to like an anger management class. So he does have some dark demons in the past, and this is him being like reborn and being healthy and shit. And he's like he has the people cook him 2 tofu burgers, hot dogs and shit, and it's just weird. It
looks disgusting. He like put some sort of black like sauce on it, and I'm like,
yeah, it was like some soybean shit or something.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but it was just pure black, and I'm like, this looks like the worst food ever. I know people really eat this stuff, but that's just not for me.
I don't know. If you probably ate it for a while, you probably get used to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But, yeah, it didn't look appetizing at all. But I get you.
Yeah.
So they're talking, they're like, and yeah, you're going to make you a show. Oh, you're going to go down on Smoochy the Rhino? And he gets all excited, and he looks like he's about to have an orgasm in one scene. Like, oh! And Nora's like, what a weirdo.
Yeah.
So that's the start of Smoochy and the Rhinots are now the new show, and it's going good. Big spotlights, and another character that comes into play later is Angelo, who's like a tiny person, or as Brandon said in our chat, he's the JP of this movie.
Yes. Accurate.
Who is I'm sorry.
What can I say? JP's smaller than me.
It must suck taking him to rides and you can't ride in the, the lines, like the short bus line or whatever those things are.
Yeah, we go to amusement parks, and he can't go on any roller coaster, so I'm just riding solo the whole time.
Damn.
Yeah, it's tragic, it really is, but what can you do?
Yeah, and then of course, Angelo was a crinkle kid who used to work with Rainbow, and now he's a Rhinette, and he comes into play later in the movie too. And the show's going good, and Rainbow Randall's like, the fucking Rhino, and I gotta stop him, and because he has like this big giant scene with like Marion Stokes, where he's like, you gotta get me my old slot back, and Stokes is like, sorry buddy, I can't help you. I get out of the car. Try to give him like a free gift thing that he got from like The Office.
Yeah. It's pathetic. I like the whole it feels like this underground mafia type of aspect to it.
Yeah, I think it's like the corruption inside like this kid's network, and
yeah, I dig that.
And like later on we find out the main like mafia looking dudes are actually like a charity. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, okay, all right.
I didn't see that coming. Like these people are supposed to help people, but they kill people. I'm like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, plot twist.
Yeah, but we'll get more into them later. Then of course, then we get to go to the next scene where Sheldon's inside like this office, and Nora's showing new products, Smoochy ice cream, Smoochy cola, and Sheldon's like, that's not me at all. I can't do this because, even though he's on the show and he has a show, he still has no creative input on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much Nora and Stokes telling him what to do, as we see in the scene where Nora gets him out of the fucking office and locks the door on him. And then Sheldon goes and gets drunk off orange juice.
Yeah,
He's got like, I'm gonna shoot some of these alfalfas in there. It's all good.
It's like you'd be amazed at what this stuff does.
And that's when we meet Burke Bennett, played by Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Who's like, you know, I'm a kids show representative, and I'm here to represent you, and you need a representation, and you want what you want. I could get it for you. And there's a funny line where Danny DeVito's like, if you want, fucking Smoochy could come out on screen with a giant dildo on his fucking horn instead of a horn. I'm saying it wrong, but that's kind of what it was. Like, you go out there, no one would fucking care because, you know, you got me as representation.
Yeah.
And of course, this is also when we fucking meet Spinner.
Spinner, the best character.
Spinner, who's an ex-boxer who runs with like he's actually involved with the Irish mob. His cousin's fucking awesome in this week. It's like, Smoochy! I'm Spinner. Fucking dying. He's kind of like it's kind of accurate because I did know like a few ex-boxers in the right who had like this type of brain damage before.
Uh-huh.
So it is kind of accurate. It's kind of like that Rocky Balboa thing.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. That's what I kept picturing.
You know, and you know, if Rocky actually lost a lot of fights by getting knocked out, that's exactly how he would probably act, more like Spinner, because too many concussions and then you're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love those Spinner scenes. Those were cracking me up.
Yeah, Spinner is great. I love him as a character.
Just so loud. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go get drunk now. Like, just real loud, like announcing every single thing he's about to do.
I gotta go take a shit. I'll be right back, Smoochy.
In the middle of a restaurant where everyone's trying to eat. Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's cute, too, because it's like he has like the heart of a child, and, you know, it's a bittersweet character, which it's kind of, you know, spoiler alert, something happens to Spinner later in the movie. It happens, it's kind of shocking, because he's like the innocence of a child, pretty much.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening after that is we see this scene of Rainbow Randolph, and he's cooking something in like his homeless area, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna get it now, Rhino."
Yeah, I just love all these, like, this descent into madness. Basically, you have Randolph going in the background of all this.
Yeah, it's great, and like he's just obsessed, and
yeah, and you feel bad for him too, kind of, because it's like he went from all that to just completely homeless, so, like he has nothing left at all.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And so he ends up breaking into the studio the next day, and you know, Smoochy and Nora are fighting over I think it was about the song. They wanted the lyrics changed to the song. And you know, what do you mean? You think these are kids you're fucking with? They're not fucking. You think that they're money with ponytails? That was kind of a line that he plays. And while this is going on, this is when Randolph ends up switching the cookies with his special cookies. We'll get more into them later. And then, you know, the show goes on, and it's time to, like, he's like, Angelo, show me the thing. It's time to get the cookies down. You know, the 2001 music starts playing, and, like, this giant bag comes down on the stage, and he does the cookie song the way that he wrote it to piss Nora off.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's time to get the cookies. And he grabs a cookie. And Carly, what is the cookie of?
Rocket ship. Just kidding. It's a dick.
It's a stiffy.
That was like probably like up until that point, it's like I thought the movie was charming and funny, but that part like had me laughing out loud with, oh my god.
Like the
just
reaction when he just pulls it out.
He's like, he stares, he's just so shocked, and then he like saves the day, and then you got, you know, freaking Randolph comes on, he's like, it's a cock! It's a dick! Like, there's something about Robin Williams saying bad words that always has cracked me up. Because I know he swears in his movies, that's not like a weird thing or anything, but something about him, he just looks like the type of guy who would be against saying bad words, so when you actually hear him like flip out like that, it's just great, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just great. Like I just love the build up. Like there's like tension. Like what is Smoochy gonna say when he just pulls this giant cock and balls fucking cookie out of the fucking bag?
Yeah, like I was on the edge of my seat, like
Like even Angelo's like his reaction, like when he's like it's a rocket ship, he's like relieved, like you know, and then
the kids all have faces of shock on their faces too, like they know what that is, and then he says it's a rocket ship, and they're all excited.
It's fucking great. It's like one of those. And if you haven't seen the thumbnail, that's pretty much the thumbnail that this episode's gonna be about, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that happened, and then Randolph's kicked off the set again, and then we have the next scene where Burke's like, "It's time for you to take control of the business," you know, and pretty much he gets Sheldon a deal of being executive producer and creative control of his show, which is cool because now he's got it. And then the first day in the office, Sheldon ends up meeting with Spinner's cousin and her gang.
Yeah.
Spinner's got a thing for you. You should get him a part in your show now that you're executive producer, right? And first it's like he's trying to say it nicely, like I don't think that could happen, and then they lean in on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. She's like, "Oh, I'm sad now. Who made you sad? I'm not gonna say any names. Oh, we got a part open up. I got a part to cast right now. Oh, thank you, sir." It's great.
Yeah. And that just shows, once again, like, I feel like that stuff probably happens in real life too. Maybe not as extreme, but like, you think, oh, I finally have control of what I want to do, and then you just get all these people coming at you, like, trying to bribe you and beg you to, you know, pull some strings to get you on their stuff.
Yeah. And of course, then what ends up happening is, you know, he's been fighting with Nora, but too over this. And then Nora comes back in his office, like, "What are you, a sellout?" And then we find out this is the whole thing with the ice show escapade starts. And It's like, I didn't agree to do an ice show with fucking Burke later on. And like Burke's like, everyone does a fucking ice show. You can't turn it down. You can't turn the vendors down, the sponsors. Shit. No one's ever done it. And Smoochy's like, "I'm not selling out, man."
Yeah. And
this is when we also see in the background of certain scenes, because Burke's actually working with the what's the name of the organization again? Something Hope. It's something to do with Hope. I know.
Yes.
That.
Yeah. I
Rise
forget
of
what
Hope
the
or
actual.
something.
Yeah.
And
seems legit. Yeah.
Yeah, and the leader of that is Harvey Fierstein. He's like, he's pushing in on both Burke and Stokes, like, "You're gonna hack the rhino pen, you know." Yeah, his voice is so great. He's like he has like a flamboyant, like deep voice, which makes it even better. Like Harvey Fierstein is the actor. Probably the most notable movie I seen him in was Independence Day, where he played Jeff Goldblum's boss, and he's like, "David, oh my God, David, why'd you send my mother to Atlanta, David?"
Did he? Yeah, that guy just has like the iconic voice. I think, was he in Duplex?
He might have been.
Is the landlord?
He might have been. He's in a bunch of movies. Like he was in Mrs. Doubtfire. He's the one who actually
yes
puts the makeup on Juan Williams and like the wig.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. There's definitely other stuff I've seen him in. He's another one that jumps out at you just based on the voice, pretty much alone.
Yeah, and ironically, if we actually talked about this movie off air, Carly, you know the musical Hairspray.
Oh yeah.
He actually played the John Travolta part on Broadway.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, yeah, I could totally see that.
Oh yeah, and I wish he did in the movie. That would have been interesting.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just weird seeing John Travolta as a giant fat woman.
I know, it's like disturbing almost.
Yeah, and Christopher Walken like slapping his ass and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's a movie I almost walked out on. I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, It's definitely not for everyone, that one.
Nah.
I actually never seen the non-music, because there's a non-musical one too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John Waters' Originals movie is a non-musical version. I wonder what that's like.
Oh, I didn't realize that that was a non-music because I've never seen that. Never seen it either. So.
Yeah, it's one that I never seen. I know like Ricky Lake's in it as like, you know, the main like chubby girl, and Divine plays her mom and that. So that kind of makes sense why they always use a man dressed as a woman for that part.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's always one that I always wanted to go back to. But anyways, we're not talking about that movie.
Hairspray review, everybody. Hairspray.
Yeah. I can get on my tangents sometimes, but it's all good. Yeah, so Sheldon says no to the ice, show. And then I think this happens next where, him and Nora fighting still. And she looks at him through like she's just checking him out in one scene. He's like, oh, she's into him, but she's just trying not to get into him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I feel like this is like such a plot device that I've seen in millions of movies where you got the uptight woman and the goofy guy, and at first she like thinks she's too good for him, and then all of a sudden she's into him.
Yeah.
Which, I don't mind. It's just something like I feel like I've seen so many times, and you kind of saw it coming right off the bat there.
Yeah, you do, and I kind of get it too with her character because as we find out later, she's been with Wally the Whale and shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So she might have some trust issues because some of these, as we heard, like when we were reading off like the names of people that take over for Rainbow, there's some asshole people in the world.
Yeah.
Playing these kids entertainers.
pretty much every single one.
So she has trust issues too, which I do kind of dig with the character, and even though it is a plot device, it works for the film because it all pays off.
Oh yeah, it definitely works. It's not like a big negative. It was just one of those things where I'm like, I know how this is going to play out by the end.
Yeah, and it does and stuff. But we'll get more into that later because the reactions are great. We'll get more. So after that, they do the performance, and then he's on like a, I think this is the scene where I've seen before or after when he gets tousled by. Oh no, okay, I got it now. He's on the way home, and then he gets stopped by Merv Green, and he gets threatened, pretty much.
You're gonna do the fucking ice show, or I'm gonna fucking kill you. Get your skates ready.
I love doing that voice. It's great.
Yeah, it's good.
I actually kind of said I was gonna do this voice for one of our listeners. So, listener, I hope you're happy.
I think you're succeeding at it too. You're doing pretty good impression there.
Thank you.
Anytime.
So he's on the phone with Burke now, like, I've just been threatened, and I'm not doing the ice show. And then, of course, Nora comes in drunk, and she starts to apologize because she's like, I gotta get drunk before I apologize to you, that's the way it is. I'm kind of the same way, to be honest.
I was about to say, it reminds me of me all the time. Makes everything easier.
That's why you're my Nora to my Smoochy.
Yes. Then you just completely forget that you apologized the next day because you were drunk, and it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. And then like they make a connection. Oh, you like Rick the Wallace? I used to watch them too. And they started talking about that's how I got into kids show business. That's why I wanted to make Smoochy. They had a moment together, and they lean in for a kiss. It was like, oh, I gotta go. It's like one of those scenes,
Yeah.
Move the plot going. Then he gets a phone call. Actually, a second phone call. We forgot to mention the fucking first phone call. I have to go back. When he's first in his office and Randolph calls him, Safari, motherfucker, and he does the elephant noise.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking die laughing. Go Safari on you, motherfucker. And now back to this new scene. Randolph's actually using a voice. And he's like, I think it's like a Scottish voice.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need you to do this kid's benefit, So he's in disguise now. Well, it's not really. if you knew Randy Randolph, it's not really a disguise, but it fooled Smoochy.
Yeah, he's just like, he's wearing like sunglasses and a mustache or something like that.
Like a beard, like like one of those patched-on beards.
Yeah. Yeah, if you knew, like, it's not a very good disguise, but I guess if you've never seen the guy that close up, it works.
Yeah, true that. And, the conversation they have is great. So you fucking hate that you think that Rainbow Randolph's gay, right? The pillow talker. He's, like, talking shit about himself.
Yeah. And the guy's like, Smoochy's, like, defending him, and he's like, oh, no, I don't think so. And he's like, what are you talking about? Yes, of course he is. He's so queer.
Which is kind of... brings up the point of the character too, where he's saying this about himself. So he actually has sexual issues.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't know which sex he's attracted to, pretty much.
Yeah, which is brought up later, and it's pretty funny, but...
Yeah, this is the first hint of it, and it just brings the more character alive, and it's I had to mention it now. It's just odd because like when I first watched this film, I never picked up on that until like this viewing that I did see it. I'm like, huh.
Like,
so he swings both ways.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So Rainbow Randolph in his new disguise drops Sheldon off to the benefit that he's supposed to perform at. Sheldon's on stage, and Carly, take the scene away.
All right, so he's up on stage, right? He goes out there, and when he goes out, it's like the lights are really bright in his face, kind of for dramatic effect, it looks like. Like, they're all on him, and everyone's staring at him, and it's exciting, but he can't see anything, and he starts trying to perform, and then he's like, okay, this isn't working out. Can we maybe put the house lights up or down or whatever you want to say? Just dim the lights a little bit so I could see. And when they do that, he sees that he is performing for a bunch of Nazis, and it's a neo-Nazi rally, and swastika flag like comes down behind him, and he realizes at that point that he has made a crucial mistake.
He is fucked.
Yeah, but
they're like, hail Smoochy, hail Smoochy. Doing this like a Nazi salute. I was like fucking dying laughing.
Which is just so ridiculous. But like it's so funny, and that's another like that's something you would not, I feel like, see in any other movie. That's a unique type of dynamic to throw into there, because he's going to be set up. You just don't know what's going to happen exactly. I thought when I was watching it, I thought he was going to perform and there was just going to be no one actually in the audience or something like that, and he was just going to look like an idiot. But that kind of takes it to a whole new level of like, not only are you fucked, but like your career is about to be over.
He's like, is this a bad dream? And then the SWAT comes in, and this is like this other montage where they're being questioned. Does Smoochy mean white power? He's like, I don't hate anybody. So you don't hate Nazis, huh?
like all these headlines and stuff saying all this stuff. It just escalates so quickly.
Yeah, then it shows like the stage beat, like the same thing what happened to Randolph, where the stage is being taken apart, and Smoochy's been replaced with reruns of cartoons. And then now this scene, I want to talk about it because I did watch the commentary for this, and there's a scene where Robin Williams is dancing inside this park, and he's like talking to a baby, like, "Rhino's a Nazi," and the baby cries.
Yeah, I love that part.
Well, there's a shot of the North Tower of the World Trade Center in that shot.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I really paid attention.
Yeah, I didn't either, because I was watching the commentary with the line, and he was mentioning he shot this. Danny DeVito actually shot this 5 months before September 11th.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because this movie, it says it was released March 29th, 2002. I guess that makes sense. It would have been shot. Oh, that's eerie. It like was being made in the middle of, that what happens there.
Yeah, so it's kind of eerie. Like even in like older movies, when I see like the World Trade Center, it's kind of like, wow.
Yeah, I think in if I'm not mistaken, I think in American Psycho you see it, and it's like just really creeps me out because it's like that movie came out in 2000, and then it's like just a year later those don't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. It was a little piece of knowledge that I picked up like doing like research on the film.
Mm-hmm.
So it's eerie knowledge, but it's just part of history, and it's just weird. Like when you look at films. And these things that weren't there anymore. Like you don't even know like half the people that were like extras in this movie could have been there that day too,
Yeah. Jeez.
But let's move on to some more happier stuff.
Yeah.
So of course, Sheldon's now living on homeless. He's homeless now. So he's this guy, and he surprises Nora. Nora, you need to help me. And she's like, I'm not fucking talking to you, you fucking racist bastard. Pretty much.
Yeah, just like.
Yeah, so he ends
goes
up
back
going.
to our trust issues.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he ends up going back to Coney Island. And of course, the methadone clinic he used to perform is now closed down. And he has a conversation with like this very homeless guy, very old. And it's a very dry scene because everything that's fallen apart in the world, where these places close down all the time, and people sometimes they do need that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So that happened. And then, of course, the next day, guess who's at Nora's door? Rainbow Randall. Hey, sweetie. And this is when we get kind of like the insight that these two had a relationship before.
Mm-hmm.
We're fucking, while my dogs are fucking barking in the background.
Derek's about to be attacked, everybody. Live on the air here.
No, it's probably like the mail or something.
Yeah. Showed you a killer dog episode. That would have been perfect.
Oh my god, imagine.
Yeah.
Ratings would have been great.
Oh, yes. But
anyways, yeah, this is when we see that they have a relationship in the past. And this is kind of goes into more of like why she has trust issues. We kind of learned it as the film progresses, which I do dig.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like to me, it's like unbelievable to picture her dating some like Rainbow Randolph or any of the other guys she was supposedly involved with. She just doesn't look like the type, but I guess it makes sense when you're kind of in that business and you're surrounded by those types of people. You would probably, kind of run to them and build your relationships with them.
Yeah, plus when she was a lot younger then too, and she even says that like I was young and stupid.
Yeah.
Which which happens.
Yeah.
We all make stupid things when we're young. I know I did, anyways.
Yeah, I'm still making them. Because I'm still young. I have plenty of time.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is when she also finds out that because he's a fucking idiot and slips up. Oh, he was checking me out in the car. It's like, what car? Never mind. I still love you, Nora. Trying to change the subject. You set Sheldon up. So this is when you fucking at first, and poor Spinner, he's crying. I want Smoochy back.
Poor little guy.
Yeah, he's all sad. So yeah, Spinner, we're introduced as he's crying. He misses Sheldon and Smoochy. He's sad, crying like Smoochy's gone. He didn't do it. He's not a Nazi. They're lying. And you're like, oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
And then Nora runs in looking for Burke, and I think her name's Tommy, cousin. Is like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's wrong? It's something about Sheldon. What about Sheldon? And this is when fucking Tommy and her goons go to fucking Rainbow Randall and beat the fucking living shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, we're getting the information out of you, motherfucker. And he's like, yeah, I did it. And of course, the next day, the newspaper reads, Randolph framed Smoochy. Smoochy's back in the air. Randolph went into jail again. And Smoochy's back. And, it's a cool thing when, like, the first episode he comes back and, he comes out with, like, the American flags and shit.
Yeah, I like, one big thing I like about this movie is it is kind of long. It's almost like I think it's like an hour and 49 minutes, but it like moves along like really fast with everything that goes on. It's like you go from Rainbow Randolph is caught right at the beginning scene, then you got Sheldon comes in, and then that whole Nazi thing happens. And when that happens, I thought like the rest of the movie was gonna be him trying to regain his like reputation, but no, like he immediately Randolph gets caught again, and then Sheldon there is back on top. So that's one thing I really dug about this movie is you kind of just get right back into it immediately.
Yeah, the pacing's it has a pretty good pace. I agree. Yeah, and I love this scene too where he's like just talking to the kids at the fire on the first episode back, and he's talking about like the dark things that happened, and you know what I do when there's stuff in the world that I hate? I just howl. Howl, kids. You didn't howl, Carly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, let's do it again. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. I'm not much of a howler myself, but all right. Might cut that out. No, just kidding. No,
But anyway, yeah. I like that scene too because it's like you got what's her name, Nora. She's like looks all concerned kind of, and everyone then it kind of just immediately jumps back in. He's like, who wants to do the whatever that
the
dance
Jiggly Wiggly.
Yeah, the Jiggly Wiggly, and then they're like, yay, and then I just love how it bounces back from like dark and depressing to just like fun time, show's over.
Yeah, and then of course this is when what happens next. He tells Burke that he's gonna do the ice show, and Burke's like, oh yeah, this is great. But then he tells them, this is the great news. I'm going to do it all on my own. No vendors, no sponsors. I'm going to preserve the drinks, the food, everything. And the money that it's made by it goes to, half of it goes to opening up the methadone clinic again. And the other half goes on education and on, drug abuse and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool on his part. And Burke's like, ooh, you can't do this, man, because he's getting fucked too. Because we find out he's gonna make a little bit of money off this too, because he's working with these dudes.
Yeah, of course.
So this is when Stokes and Burke come to the realization they gotta kill Smoochy.
Yeah, that's all there is to it, of course.
So they talk to Merv Green, and they're like, "You gotta put the hit on the rhino." Okay, I'll do it. And then fucking, the next recording. Another thing is during the scene also, the Spinner's cousin is like, you need to get him another position on that job on the show because he's been ringing that fucking bell all the time because he's, ringing a cowbell on stage dressed as like a safari hunter.
Yeah, once again, it's like a little kid type of move when you give a kid a freaking recorder or something and all they do is play it forever. But this is a grown-ass man doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And so, yeah, he agrees to, and then this is the next show. This is actually the Dad song.
Yeah. How's it? It's like, your Dad's not mean, he's just adjusting.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And at the end, if he ever hits you or your mom, what's the magic number, kids? 911.
I love it.
It's great.
You got to at least throw that in, like, if he actually is being abusive, though, that's not adjusting. That's bad.
Exactly. And then this is introduced to Spinner's new role in the show as Smoochy, Smoochy's cousin, which is cute.
Yeah, I like that.
Cute. He's like a different color of suit, a rhino, a little darker.
Yeah.
Because I think he's like a magenta Smoochy, and he's like a darker purple. And then, this is when, they're all happy. Like, Moochie's like, oh, big ladies. Like, hugging Nora and shit. Like, oh, yeah. I love you, Smoochy. I love you too, Spinner. I'm Spinner.
He's like, I'm Spinner. Like, I love that stuff.
I know, it's great.
He's another show stealer for this whole, movie stealer with his part there, that Spinner character.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's about to come to an end.
Oh.
Because while Nora and Sheldon end up hooking up finally. They're like, it's time to do this. So that's sex scene. Oh yeah.
Of course.
And while this is going on, Spinner is walking on the set, still in the rhino costume. And then Merv Green's thugs knock him on the head, beat the shit out of him, and shoot him in the head 2 times. And take his body and drop it off in Chinatown.
Which is definitely a pretty intense scene, especially for a movie that's pretty much been, mainly more lighthearted and comedic throughout. You get that, and then followed by that, of course, you get the funeral scene, which I thought was actually pretty sad. So
it was just the reactions on like Ed Norton's face is very heartbreaking because they had a connection because he's like Spinner was like a little kid and he looked up to Smoochy.
Yeah, it's legit. It's legit like you killed an 8-year-old or something. That's how it felt. It's like the same feeling when you see this poor big guy get killed.
It's sad, and everyone thinks that Rainbow Randolph has something to do with it. Of course, they're like, "I'm gonna cut that fucking Rainbow Randolph's balls off." And of course, he didn't.
Yeah.
Because I think it's actually the next scene where, like, oh, we found out who did it. Because my other cousin works as the coroner. Oh, like the MO is the same as the Hope Foundation or whatever. So then we get to see what happens to Merv Green, and he got pretty much dead.
Yeah.
He's like, no, don't cut my fucking head off, no, please don't.
Dramatic endings.
Yeah. And while this is going on, we forgot to mention the scene in the fucking Times Square. Fuck. Before this happened, of course, there's a scene where Robin Williams is.
Oh yeah, that's a big
That's
part.
a big thing. We forgot to talk about. It kind of plays into what we're gonna. So we'll go back to it right now. It's okay to bounce back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, especially with these type of movies.
There's so much going on in this one too, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So right before, like, in Times Square, there's a scene where Robin Williams has given up all hope.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Smoochy's not going to take my life. I'm going to take my life. And you could see, like, the reactions that Robin Williams has given is pretty much the way I would describe his performance in this movie. He actually took a lot of the shit he is actually feeling in real life and put it inside this performance.
Yeah, I would say so. And it, like we mentioned earlier, it makes it all the more depressing to watch.
Because it's kind of odd watching this movie now and knowing that he was actually suffering from depression and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's over now, lords, and you can see like the emotion in his face, like he's just a crumbling man, and this is the way he probably really was in real life. And it's kind of, we get more into it more in the end too, like near the finale.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see it for the first time, and this is like he's about to douse gasoline on himself and light himself on fire in the middle of all these people. No one can stop me.
Which would be like the worst way to die ever.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Like, just shoot yourself, dude.
And fucking what ends up happening is a little girl comes out of the crowd and is like, no, Rainbow Randolph, you can't do that. And of course he's like, you're an angel. Starts crying. And then she leaves him because Smoochy comes. Smoochy!
It's like a very 2-second long touching scene, and then everyone just bounces whenever Smoochy comes, which is pretty messed up, honestly. Like, this guy could still be setting himself on fire and no one really cared.
Yeah. But I think this is also the scene where after the funeral and after Merv Green's death, we see like he's like, you know what? I'm okay with not, because I got saved. I have some hope left in the world. I'm not going to go after Smoochy anymore. He started to come back around until Angelo drops off this magazine where he sees Smoochy hugging Nora in the picture. First he steals my spot. Then he takes my life. Now he's going to take my girl. This is another way that reacts to him. He probably doesn't even really care about Nora.
Yeah, it's just something that was once his, quote
exactly. And it triggers it off, and he's like, I'm going on a fucking warpath. And while this is going on, too, we see that Burke and Stokes are still planning on killing Smoochy, so they hire another former kids fucking show host, Buggy Ding Dong, played by Vincent Scaffali. And it's fucking funny. Like, they're in, like, this giant fucking nightclub in fucking middle of nowhere. And then he's just sits down next to him and he falls asleep. Because he's like a heroin addict.
Yeah, he's like nodding off. He looks like a freaking drug addict, too.
Yeah, it's the perfect casting for this guy.
Did this guy die of drugs? I hope not, because, like, he probably did.
I know he did pass away. I'm not sure how.
He died kind of young, so like I'm thinking like, oh, that's kind of rude of me if he actually died from drugs. But either way, he's playing the character. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think he was though. I think that's because he always looked like that, even in the 70s.
Yeah, for sure. He just kind of had those really baggy eyes.
Yeah. But and then Buggy Ding Dong ends up runs into Nora. Oh, I want to do the ding dong again, Nora? I'm like, oh no, you fucked this guy too, Nora? Holy shit. She's been around, so you think she wouldn't be with Robin Williams? We definitely know she wouldn't think she would be with this fucking guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Lord.
And then this is the scene where she goes back because she's like, I think Stokes is going to try to kill you with Buggy Ding Dong. And this is when Rainbow Randolph comes to the penthouse. And he's like, surprise, motherfuckers! And he's wearing his fucking Rainbow Randolph suit again. And I'm gonna fucking kill you. He's like, why are you gonna kill me? Because it's my fucking kingdom, bitch. He's like, I had a naked woman on that wall. Now you have your fucking mother? He's just going fucking off. And this is when Smoochy finds out that Nora is a kid show groupie.
Yeah.
You're like, you were Randolph? And then they name somebody else, and they're like, you were him too? Oh yeah, she was with Wally the Wheel too. Not Wally the Wheel. There she blows. And then they're like, oh, and there's like Nora's like, I'm different now, Sheldon.
Poor Nora.
Like it happens. I knew actually girls that were kind of like this too.
Oh yeah, there's plenty out there.
That threw themselves to anything that they, Yeah. And it just happens, and sometimes you grow up, and I think she does love Sheldon in the end, and you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the scene where fucking Rainbow Randolph ends up breaking down. They take the gun away from him. He's like, just fucking kill me now. Just kill me. I don't want to live. And he's like, no, because I don't think you're a bad person, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
But you have serious issues with like your sexual identity, anger management. You just need help. Will you be my friend? Yes. Sure. So they end up becoming friends now.
Yeah, and I do like that dynamic as well, because you go in thinking like this whole movie's just going to be about this Randolph guy trying to kill Smoochy, but then it kind of takes that little turn, and you're like, oh, all right, that's a little heartwarming.
And of course, it's the big night of the ice show, so they say, Randy, you can stay here, do whatever you want. We'll be back. Which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up going to the ice show. And while this is going on, we see that Angelo got jumped by Buggy Ding Dong and got his pass stolen, so he could get into like the arena wherever this ice show is being held.
Mm-hmm.
And he got tied up, and then what ends up happening is, the ice show starts, and we find out it's kind of a cute scene when the ice show starts because he has Spinner's cowbell, and he's like, "This is for Spinner."
Yeah.
Then you can see like the emotion of like Spinner's family in the audience, and it's cute, and I'm glad that they did that. And the ice show itself is very self-explanatory of like all the events that happened in the movie.
Yeah, I like the whole ice show because it's like a giant tribute to Spinner pretty much, and it's very, touching. It's a well done ice show as well. I've never seen a real ice show in real life, but
Oh yeah?
no, I haven't.
Well, that's why you gotta come up here. We'll go to one time. There's
Oh,
tons
all right.
You've got the Disney on Ice all the time.
Yeah, I know they do Disney on Ice around here, but I've never. They do it in Pittsburgh, of course, but I've never actually gone.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive now. Plus, it would be just weird if we as grown adults went without kids.
Yeah, you just gotta like kidnap a kid for a day.
Yeah, I think my nephew when I was like, hey,
Yeah,
let's do
yeah.
it. Whatever. But
Sure.
whatever. And then, the ice show's going on, and of course, Randy Rainbow, because Randy's is actually his nickname that people call him. That's why I'm kind of, if you just know that when I say Randy, that I'm involving Randolph.
Yeah, Randolph is a pain to say. I keep saying it, but yeah, Randy.
Yeah, Randy. Which actually funny that his last name's Smiley. So even it's a play on him being Smiley, and he's a depressed character.
Yeah, hates his life.
Yeah, so that ends up. So he gets a phone call by Angelo, and like he got jumped by Buggy, and he's like, "I gotta go save the rhino." So he's all about saving the rhino now. So he goes to the arena too, and he gets stopped because, "Oh my God, Rainbow Randolph, can you get your autograph?" "Oh yeah." And it's like during the ice show too. There's this funny scene where Buggy Ding Dong's eating a fucking unsalted pretzel, and he passes out for like 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's gold.
And pretty much while this is happening, and this is the climax of the movie, guys, that we're getting to, is Buggy Ding Dong is about to shoot Smoochy during like the scene where he's waving goodbye to somebody in the Moochie costume, pretending to be like Moochie or Spinner, as a seance to say goodbye to Spinner. And while this is going on, Nora sees it. She's trying to get his attention. Rainbow Randolph's climbing up to where Buggy is, and he's gonna get him going. And then the shooting like a piece of the costume off. It didn't hit Smoochy at all, but it hit like some of the top of the head of the rhino. And then there's a confrontation between Randy and Buggy and top of the whatever that fucking thing's called, the top of like the arena.
Yeah.
And Buggy ends up falling to his fucking death. So there's actually another death in this movie that's fucking dark.
Yeah.
The fucking guy gets killed in the middle of an ice rink.
Yeah, for kids, like.
That's great.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then then we find out that, and then this is when they find out, oh my God, Burke was involved too, and this is when fucking Smoochie's like had enough, because kind of his old dark demon side of his anger management time comes out, where he's like, "Burke, you motherfucker!" And he's chasing him with a gun. This is the Die Hard moment of the scene, the chase scene of the movie. And jumping on calves and getting to the dark alley, and this is when they confront Burke, and and then they're like, "Don't kill him, Smoochy. He's not worth it. You can't shatter your career."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're right." And they're like, "We'll take care of them." And they're like, "Oh fuck, I don't want to die. Do you guys like to travel together?" I'm like, oh shit. And pretty much that's the end of the movie, where we see Nora kiss Sheldon again, and the Jackie Wilson song starts playing, and then we get a new ice show for the credits.
Yeah, which is pretty entertaining. I did watch the whole credits.
There you go. That's how you know it's good, when you watch the whole credits.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I could turn this off. This is like, still feels like some movie to me. And basically, he got Randolph and Sheldon have combined forces.
And it's cool because Nora's part of the show too. Out of nowhere,
Yeah.
She just starts coming out on the ice. She's like, "Yeah, I'm here too."
Yeah,
And it's kind of weird because all these people fucked each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, yay, I'm the team groupie, yay.
Yeah,
Here I am. Don't forget me.
It's like that awkward moment because when you had a friend and you date their ex-girlfriend or something, it's kind of like that. It's like that. And you're still friends. You're like, "Can we hang out?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, it's a little weird, but whatever.
Yeah. But that's pretty much the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You
It's a
know,
wrap.
and great song to end it out on. You know, I love that Jackie Wilson song.
Hmm.
He was using like Ghostbusters too and shit. Yeah, it's fucking fun movie, Death to Smoochy. I'm glad I revisited it and I picked this one because it's been a while since I watched this one myself.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked it too, because it was a great first time watch for me. And like I said, there's a kind of a lot, when you really get down to talking about it, there's like a lot going on in this film to kind of dissect. So it's been fun kind of going through the whole plot, and it's got a lot of like roller coaster-y type moments throughout it. And it's one that I would definitely rewatch in the future.
Nice, yeah. And you can get this on DVD from Warner Archive. Doesn't have a Blu-ray yet, but you know, I like the Warner Archive DVDs. They're cheap.
Yeah, they'll probably put this one on Blu-ray eventually.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up too. I'll upgrade definitely if they do.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with the DVD. I was actually shocked because usually when you get a Warner Archive DVD, they don't have special features or anything. Sometimes, most of the time, this one actually had features. I was actually shocked because it had the commentary track. It has a whole making of documentary on it. I didn't actually watch that yet. I was actually shocked how many features were actually on the like a burn on demand fucking release. You know?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, that's pretty cool actually.
Yeah, definitely gonna check out more of those features later on. I think they were from the time though. It'd be interesting if they did like a re-release of this movie with new features though.
Yeah.
Like I want to hear something like Ed Norton, like people they were like DeVito and shit, and how they talk about Williams during this and stuff. Like, you know, like a look back on Smoochy type deal, like kind of like the Halloween 3 documentary.
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be dope.
Hell yeah. But anyways, guys, we got another segment of the show before we get out of here, so we're gonna take a little break, play you some more, you know, maybe it was, I don't know what song it's gonna be, maybe like on the Smack song or the Dad song. Which one do you want, Carly?
Second one, Dad song.
Okay, we'll have the Stepdad song.
Yeah, I like that
take
one.
the break, and then we'll be right back with some listener feedback.
He slams the door, he stomps his feet, sends me to bed with zilch to eat. But my stepdad's not mean, he's just adjusting. His temper's bad and he's a slob, he's bitter 'cause he lost his job. But my stepdad's not mean, he's just adjusting. So 3 cheers for the man that I proudly call Stan. He's not quite a dad or a brother. Yes, he gets cross, but still, he's the boss. And besides, he takes care of my mother. So be patient with new friends like Stan. It's tough to be mom's second man. But your stepdad's not mean, he's just adjusting. So remember, kids, a stepdad is a lot like a new puppy. They need patience and love while they adjust to their new surroundings. But remember, if he is ever abusive to you or mommy, what are the magic numbers? 911! That's right!
That's right, folks. We got some listener feedback. We got 2 this time.
Woo!
And we're going to have an audio one, and then I'm going to read one out like Amadeus to you guys.
Yay.
So this audio one is from the good homie Heather, who has been giving us a lot of written ones in the previous, and this is her first audio one, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And pretty cool stuff. And of course, I will mention, because I did kind of tell Heather that Brandon was going to be on the show, because she kind of has a huge, giant crush on him. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man.
She wanted it, but that's why she does say Brandon's name on this show.
Yeah.
Because she knew she was going to be on it, but then he wasn't. But anyways, let's just keep going. This is Heather with her thoughts on Death to Smoochy. If I get it. Oh.
Hi, Derek, Carly, and Brendan. And thanks for bringing me on to do a review of Death to Smoochy. So this movie came out in 2002, and I think I saw it back then. It's a shame that it came out then. I think if it had come out in 2019, it would have been much more positively received by critics. I think the dark humor that was in this movie in 2002 was just too ahead of its time, because it really is a very entertaining, excellent film. I think overall the performances, when you're looking at people like Robin Williams, phenomenal performance, as we all know from any movie that he's been in. Danny DeVito, Edward Norton was fabulous in it. Same with Catherine Keener, Jon Stewart being in it. Like, there were so many celebrities in this film, and the plot moves very quickly. It's very comical. I found that the jokes really landed with me more now being older, and I think particularly having friends with children and watching them watch children's shows now, and it really made me think about behind the scenes. And obviously this movie is sensationalized and all that kind of stuff, but I thought about the idolization of child stars and how, or stars for children shows, and how really as a child that's kind of your first role model or whoever that you look up to, and the fall from grace that they can have. And obviously in this it was comical, and even the upselling from the ice show to all the other products and everything that came with it. I thought it was a really good play on capitalism and marketing to children, and that whole trend of overconsumption. So that's a little bit deeper than probably most people would have looked into it. From the comedy standpoint, some great songs. I really enjoyed the Smack song that he sung. I thought that was pretty funny, along with My Stepfather's Just Adjusting, probably one of my other favorite songs from it. But yeah, overall, I would recommend it. I think if you enjoy dark comedies or a little bit of satire humor, you would probably like this film. If you like Robin Williams, you should probably like this film. He's a phenomenal actor and does a phenomenal job in this film. And yeah, so I would say if that's your jam, then definitely check out Death to Smoochy. And if you watched it back in 2002, maybe you were younger or you didn't like it then, I would really say rewatch it now with fresh eyes. I think especially up to today, it's held up, and if anything, it's more relevant with some of the topics that they cover. And yeah, overall, I really thought it was a great film, and I really appreciate you encouraging me to watch it. So thank you, and congratulations on, I believe this is episode 3. I know you guys are going to knock it out of the park. Take care.
Good stuff, Heather.
Yeah, good speaking voice. You should do more podcasts there, Heather.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with her opinions too. Like all the stuff I kind of said, where it's a good, fast-paced comedy, and it probably would have done a lot better had it been released today or just several years ago, as opposed to like almost freaking 20 years ago at this point.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah.
4th episode, Heather, but I won't hold that to you.
Slap on the wrist. No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And of course, Brandon, if you listen to that, let us know how she did when you listen to the show, buddy.
Yeah.
Because you're like our spinner in this episode now. This is for you. Jing, ding. But not all could be sunny, as usual, because we have another email, and this one is from our awesome thumbnail maker, James Cow. Shout out to James.
Yeah.
But,
the best.
Yeah, now he actually, since he didn't see the film before, I got him a way to show the film, and he watched it, and he sent me a review. It's actually a funny story. I should bring it up. He was actually going to review this on Body Bags.
Oh.
And he was going to send us like the audio or the video for that.
Oh my god.
And then halfway through, he messaged me, I can't review this for Body Bags.
Yeah. Oh my god, that guy.
He's funny.
Like he came to the realization, like, oh, wait.
Alright. Here's his review. Are you ready to hear this, Carly?
I am. I think so, yes.
Oh, should I do it as Harvey Fierstein?
Sure, why not?
Oh, Death to Smoochy, I can't quite figure out who this film is made for. I mean, it's neo-noir crime, black comedy, but it doesn't click for me. There are some interesting characters working alongside generic, boring scenes before. Robin Williams takes it to his dark, comedic side with gleeful ease, but it seems he has been given half a bag of ammunition. Many scenes just come up short. They can't reach their peak. Edward Furlong. I didn't know Edward Furlong's in this movie.
He's not.
I'm just kidding.
My God, God, I get it.
Ed Norton.
Close enough.
I'll autocorrect.
Yeah.
Ed Norton's character is decent, but I feel he carried his shoulders that lends to the script being too light again. Everyone else either boring or annoying. Okay, I didn't hate this movie. I really didn't, but I far from loved it. I gained nothing from watching it, and I won't watch it again, and I'm sure I'll have forgotten it in a couple of months' time. I mean, this genre of film is not first thing I reach out for the shelf. It's really last. Smoochy isn't convincing me to change my mind. Holy shit!
Damn. Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
If you're not a fan of, like, dark comedies and... I
guess I understand. He's kind of like, I don't know what this movie's trying to be. I guess I kind of get that, because it's got, like, a lot of different dynamics and plot aspects and, like, genres kind of going through it. But, yeah, if it doesn't click with you, though, you're probably not going to enjoy it. So I can totally understand that. Like I said, going into it, I thought I might not enjoy it personally, but then, giving it the full chance of investing, I ended up liking it. But I could totally see someone watching this and being like, what the heck is this? So, I could kind of see, like, I could see there being negatives.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, even when it came out, like we said, it did get negative reviews, too, so...
Yeah.
It happens.
Sure. Yeah.
And James, like, even after you hear our discussion, I say do check the film out again after you hear our discussion on it, and don't watch it again right away.
No, yeah.
Just let it seep in what we talked about on it, and how we dissected it, and maybe check it out, like, maybe in a year or two, and maybe it will be different for you. You just gotta think of the aspects of it. There is actually a lot of going on in this film, and yeah, maybe the characters are, they're kind of, because they're business people too. They do business things, so they're not come off as like the greatest characters in the world either when we first introduced.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like a lot of the characters that build at the end of the movie too. And the ones that you're not supposed to like. Well, you're not supposed to like them, and they fucking end up getting killed.
Yeah.
So either that way. So either way, thank you for the review, James, and thanks for the awesome thumbnails as usual. You knock it out of the park.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's it for the listener feedback. 2 shows not bad. I wish we got more, but I'll take 2.
Yeah, I'm happy with anything really.
And as always, Carly, it's great to do a show with you.
You too, sir. You too. I enjoy the different movies that we have going on here, and I think we'll, always be coming up with other great ones to talk about.
I know, and wow, you just called me sir. You made me feel like I'm like a father or something.
I feel like Dan Chase or something over here saying that.
Well, yeah, speaking of Dan, we've been hanging with Dan Chase too much on the Skype lately. It's affecting us.
Yeah, it's like I'm just taking out. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, but yes.
Yeah, my Massachusetts brother, Dan. But we have a special coming up in October.
Yeah.
What are we doing, Carly?
We're doing Spider Baby! Yay!
Yeah, we thought because of the recent... Well, first off, I kind of wanted for our dissections for, like, every October we do, like, a black and white horror movie. And, I had a title in mind, but after recent events that just happened, we lost Sid Haig. So I decided to choose an early role for him to do, and we are doing Jack Hill's classic Spider Baby.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I've heard pretty good things about this one, so I am looking forward to it.
Of course, it stars also the legendary, the Wolfman himself, Lon Chaney Jr., in one of his final roles. And Yeah, it's going to be our October show. We'll plan that out, and once you hear this show, probably come out on the last day of November. September. Wow, I'm draining today, guys. Don't mind me.
The last months of the year, they're all the same thing, pretty much.
Yeah, so this will be coming out then. So then we'll plan our show out right after this one gets released, and you can start sending your listener feedback to us at Celluloid Dissections Podcast at gmail.com. I gave Carly a break from saying that to this show.
Yeah, my tongue's always getting tied.
I kind of dread it now that I made the name of the show.
I know, I'm like, oh, that's a tongue twister, and sometimes I have a lisp, and oh man, I don't know, but still a good title. It's just hard to say.
But anyways, Carly, what do you have coming out new and brewed? Anything recent for shows?
Well, for the October show, for Movie versus Movie podcast, Austin and I plan on doing Starry Eyes and the Neon Demon together. So don't know when we're recording that though yet, but that should be what we plan for October. And yeah, other than that, that's about it. I mean, I do have a special little appearance on the Who Will Survive podcast, but that also comes out in October. It's already pre-recorded, but if you guys are a fan of that, I shall be on that. But that's about it for me.
I cannot wait to listen to both those shows.
Yeah.
And that's a tough show. Starry Eyes or Neon Demon. Ooh.
I've never seen Neon Demon, and I've seen Starry Eyes once, I will say. So it'll be, interesting for sure. Because I've heard mixed opinions on Neon Demon, at least. Starry Eyes, I enjoyed that one the first time I saw it, but I've only seen it once, like I said. So I'll be intrigued to see what I think.
I'm actually a big fan of both, so yeah, that's the thing, like when you guys asked that fucking ritual versus, I still have to listen to the episode, I have it downloaded, but that Austin did the poll,
the
ritual and the ascent, I'm like, fuck, which one do I choose? I like both of these.
I know, I was shocked. I think it came out as a tie by the end of that. It was like neck and 9 votes to 9 votes, and you just have to listen to find out which one we mutually agreed upon.
Yeah, I'll definitely listen to that. I'll probably listen to that tonight at work.
Nice.
Hell yeah, because I support my homie.
Yeah.
Because Carly's got my heart right here.
And Derek got my back forever.
Hell yeah. But we're going to get out of here, guys. Like we said, Spider Baby's next show. You can find this on the Cinema Attack feed under Horophilia. Thank you, Mr. Jason Lloyd, for always putting the awesomeness in the shows. Mm-hmm. I have actually I forgot to mention there's actually gonna be a bonus episode of Cinema Attack, which is me and Rebecca Reinhardt. We did like a little bonus review of One Cut for the Dead. That should be out. Check that out. It should be out kind of, I think maybe tomorrow before the show comes out.
Nice.
But anyways, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Check us out on the Cinema Attack Facebook group and all the places. We're gonna leave you off with Jackie Wilson. The song that plays I can't think of the name of the song off the top of my head, but it's the song that plays during the credits. So me and Carly are going to fly in our skates and get out of here, guys.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.